So Espen asks how to know if you're engaging the right muscle and getting the most out of every rep. So I'm going to think about this question as an activation type of question. So how do you get the most out of your training, and how do you get the most out of each rep? Which basically means, are you activating the muscle and getting the most out of it? Now, there are two lines of thought here. You get really strong over time and you activate more muscle fibers and get more activation overall as the muscle gets stronger and grows, or you slow it down and really focus on activating the muscle properly. So to answer this question, I think activation of the muscle is more important than generating enough force and just improving your strength, because depending on how you define improving strength, if you just define it by how much your weights go up every week, well, that can happen in many ways. Maybe you unintentionally shorten the range of motion, or you use more momentum, you bounce the weight off your chest, you do the reps super quickly instead of going through a full range of motion. So the best way, I think, to make sure you're engaging the muscles properly, especially if you don't have good activation, meaning you're not activating the muscle fully or you don't feel it fully, I think utilizing certain so-called isolation movements are really good for helping you make that mind-muscle connection. Now, I wrote an article for Schwarzenegger.com about this. I'll link it in the description, but here's what you need to know. Think about basic movements like leg extensions, bicep curls, tricep extensions, movements that you can't do a lot of weight on just due to the nature of single joint exercises that force you to work in the higher rep ranges and forces you to contract that muscle. Because if you're just doing a bicep curl and you focus on the movement, you're really going to pay attention to the activation in your bicep. The same if you do a single leg extension. You're going to notice the contraction and you're going to notice the activation and the stimulation in your quad, instead of a squat, which involves the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, and balancing on top of all those other things you're focusing on. So think about single joint movements, isolation movements, take it slow, lower the weight, really focus on the contraction, really focus on the negative portion of the movement, and that will help you improve the stimulation or the activation in those muscles that you're working.
Thank you so much for watching. Creating videos like this is a lot of fun, but it also takes a lot of time, so I would appreciate if you would share it with your friends, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode of Just the Tip.